Oh Say Can You See? Cast: Major General Robert Ross, commander of the British Army attacking Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, August and September 1814. Aide to General Ross: Francis Scott Key, American lawyer and amateur poet. Colonel John S. Skinner, United States agent for government communication with British forces in the Chesapeake Bay region. Dr. William Beans, American doctor. Sound effects: cannon fire, bang two pans together. Whistling rockets, whistle into a microphone. Explosions, use a sound effects CD or slam a door. Scene 1, September 15th, 1814. The United States and Great Britain have been at war for years. In August, British troops invaded and burned Washington, D.C. Returning to the ships, they arrested American doctor William Beans, whom they suspect is a British citizen and therefore a traitor. The British are holding Dr. Beans prisoner on one of the ships of the British fleet, now anchored in Chesapeake Bay. The scene opens at the captain's cabin of a British frigate, the Tonnant. At center is a desk with some papers, an inkstand with a quill pen and candlesticks. There are 2 chairs across from the desk and a British flag up left. Ross sits at the desk facing the audience, looking through some papers. Aide enters. Aide: 2 Americans are here to see you about the prisoner, sir. Ross, looking up: Ah, yes, the traitorous doctor. Please show them in. Skinner and Key enter. Key carries a packet of papers in one hand. Ross rises and bows slightly. Welcome to His Majesty's ship, the Tonnant, sirs. He gestures towards the chairs. Please have a seat. Colonel Skinner and Key steps forward. Francis Scott Key at your service, sir. I'm a lawyer representing Dr. William Beans, an American citizen most wrongfully arrested on the 28th of August. Ross to Skinner: As a prisoner exchange officer, sir, you are well aware that all persons born in Great Britain are subject to British law, not the laws of America. Key: But Dr. Beans was born in America, as were both of his parents. We have a letter here stating these facts, as well as other letters testifying to his virtuous character. He waves the packet of papers. Skinner: Please, sir, do be so kind as to peruse these documents. You shall see that Dr. Beans is not only a native of the United States, he is also a man worthy of the highest respect. Ross takes the papers and returns to his desk. He turns the pages quickly at first, then more slowly. The 2 Americans remain standing. Key fiddles impatiently with his hands. Ross, still looking down at the papers and thoughtfully rubbing his chin: I see. These letters from wounded British soldiers are most moving. He rises. Gentlemen, we are deeply grateful for the care Dr. Beans gave our men. We shall release him at once. Key smiles triumphantly at Skinner. Unfortunately, however, we are in a state of war. For now you must remain with the fleet. Key, alarmed: What? Are we all to be prisoners? Ross: Not prisoners, sir. Honored guests. You shall have everything you wish. Key: And if I wish to return to my wife and family? Ross: Sirs, we cannot permit you to leave with information about the size and location of our forces. Admiral Cochrane and I will be honored to have you and Dr. Beans join us for dinner this evening. Key and Skinner exchange glances. Skinner: No, thank you, General Ross. May we return to our sloop? Ross: Certainly. I shall arrange for Marines to escort you there. Your sloop will be tethered to a British frigate, the Surprise. He sits down at the desk and writes and signs an order with a quill pen and shakes sand on it to dry the ink. He hands the paper to his aide. Key, aside to Skinner while Ross is writing: Surprise indeed. I think he intends to put us in chains. Scene 2. 9 days later, it is night time, shortly before dawn. The deck of the American sloop, which is tied to a British frigate anchored in the Patapsco River a few miles south of Baltimore. Part of the hull of the British ship, the Surprise, can be seen in the right. 2 sea chests are at the center stage on one side of the mast. A lantern hangs from the mast. At the back of the stage is the outline of Fort McHenry. The stage is dark except for the lantern and flashes of light in the background. The air is full of smoke. We hear cannon fire, whistling rockets, and explosions. Beans and Skinner sit tensely on the chests. Key is pacing the deck. Guards holding muskets stand at attention to left and right. Beans: Calm yourself, Francis. We can do nothing but wait, hope, and pray. Key excitedly: Calm? With the constant gunfire? We've had to listen to the battle all day. Is it going to last all night, too? Skinner. But so long as we hear the guns, we know that our men are preventing the enemy from entering Baltimore Harbor. It seems the British ships cannot get past Fort McHenry. Key. Yes, you're right. There's still hope. The sounds of gunfire die off. We hear small splashing sounds, boats creaking, and distant, unintelligible voices. The firing has stopped. Beans, getting up and going to the side of the sloop. Is it over? Heavens, it is so dark and smoky. What is happening? Key. I see nothing but inky blackness. The hurly-burly's done, but is the battle lost or won? Skinner. It's too quiet. The crew aboard the Surprise must not know yet either. Key. Peering out into the smoky darkness. I cannot bear the suspense. How long until is dawn? Key resumes pacing. Dr. Bean sits holding his head in his hands. Colonel Skinner listens intently. Gradually the smoke clears and the light begins to glow from the left. In the background, the outline of Fort McHenry emerges in the distance. From a flagpole at the top, a huge American flag with 15 stars and stripes slowly rises. The sound of a fife playing Yankee Doodle can just barely be heard. The guards turn to see what is happening. Key, triumphantly waving his arms. Oh, look, can you see it? Our flag, we have won. Beans, God be praised. Skinner pointing off to right. Look, the British are hoisting sails to depart. Baltimore is saved. Key excitedly fishes through his pockets and pulls out a wrinkled envelope. Key, William, do you have a pen and ink in your doctor's kit? I am bursting with poem. What was it I just said? Oh, say, can you see? Number 1. Why do Colonel Skinner and Francis Scott Key ask Major General Ross to free William Beans? A. He is their friend. B. He is a British citizen. C. He is an American citizen. D. He is needed to care for sick soldiers. 2. Why does Ross tell Skinner and Key that they must remain with the fleet? A. He believes they are lying. B. It is dangerous for them to leave. C. He wants to hold them as prisoners. D. They have information about the British forces. 3. Which of the following words describes Skinner and Key's feelings right after they are told they must stay with the British fleet? A. Delighted. B. Dismayed. C. Enraged. D. Weary. 4. Which of the following best summarizes the plot of this play? A. While trying to free an American prisoner, Colonel Skinner and Francis Scott Key are also taken as prisoners by the British forces. B. An attempt to rescue an American prisoner leads Francis Scott Key to witness a terrifying battle and write the Star-Spangled Banner. C. After Colonel Skinner and Francis Scott Key succeed in having the British release William Beans, the three men survive an intense battle. D. After a frightening battle, Colonel Skinner, Francis Scott Key, and William Beans realize the Americans have won the battle when they see the American flag through the smoke. 5. Why do the letters from British soldiers imply about William Beans? A. He is actually a British citizen. B. He is partial to the British forces. C. He is compassionate to all soldiers. D. He is partial to the American forces. 6. What does the last line of the play tell the reader about Francis Scott Key? A. He was organized. B. He was a professional poet. C. He had trouble with his memory. D. He wrote the Star-Spangled Banner. 7. Why did the author write this play? A. To tell the origin of an important American song. B. To tell how Dr. Beans was rescued by Skinner and Key. C. To describe the American victory at the Battle of Baltimore. D. To tell how Skinner, Key, and Beans survived a terrifying battle. 8. Which of the following statements about the play is true? A. Francis Scott Key wanted to write a national anthem on this trip. B. Francis Scott Key knew that William Beans was actually a British citizen. C. Francis Scott Key's main goal on this trip was to have William Beans released. D. Francis Scott Key wanted to get information from the British to help the American forces. In the play, Francis Scott Key says we have a letter here stating these facts as well as other letters testifying to his virtuous character. What does the word virtuous mean? A. Acute. B. Corrupt. C. Thoughtful. D. Worthy. 10. Which of the following words best describes the night of the battle? A. Incidental. B, stressful, C, unbearable, D, unpleasant. 11. Which sentence from the play shows that Ross realizes the British have imprisoned Beans by mistake? A, these letters from wounded British soldiers are most moving. B, gentlemen, we are deeply grateful for the care Dr. Beans gave our men. C, sirs, we cannot permit you to leave with information about the size and location of our forces. D, as a prisoner exchange officer, you are well aware that all persons born in Great Britain are subject to British laws, not the laws of America. 12. How do the men first realize that the Americans have won the battle? A, the firing stops. B, William Beans is released. C, they see the American flag through the smoke. D, they see the British hoisting the sails to depart.